President Trump is a man in motion. He is constantly on the move, and it makes him a moving target, but also a accessible target, unlike Joe Biden, who just stayed in one spot, effectively in a bunker. Nobody ever saw him. If you did see him, it was inside of a stage. They even built a fake Oval Office with a miniature desk. Nobody quite knows why. An act of humiliation, I think, a ritual is what I would suggest. But anyway, Joe Biden was never out and about. You couldn't get at him like this man was trying to kill Trump last week. Funny how he just kind of brushed this stuff off, right? So Trump went to his golf course in LA last week, and a guy with a fake security badge saying that he's there, part of a Homeland Security reconnaissance mission. This guy's a career criminal, but anyway, he had a whole getup. He had an entire arsenal with him. Some of the firearms were illegal, and he was scoping out the club, and he was looking for an opportunity to kill Trump. Obviously, he was charged for that. Anyway, he had fake law enforcement credentials with him, which scares the hell out of me because there are a lot of people that can carry a lot of guns around Donald Trump. Donald Trump reacted. He just kind of shrugged it off. Heavily armed man arrested, scoping out and casing Trump's golf course that Trump was about to speak at 24 hours later. Well, anyway, it always concerned me because we've been able to see sort of the breakdown of the Secret Service. There were violent fights on Kamala Harris's Secret Service with loaded firearms with an agent that lost her mind. There were fights outside of Barack Obama's garrison at his house, the Secret Service, getting into a brawl. They have loaded firearms. The president is like within range. A lot of these people obviously are very well trained, but many of them are not. And the DEI hire all the women, hire as many minorities as we possibly can out of the Secret Service. That's a great way to hire. We'll check their skin color and their genitalia, and that will make them capable of guarding the most powerful man on the planet. No, it's worked out terribly. And of course, we saw in Butler just a few millimeters between somebody like this putting a bullet through Trump's head because of the failures of the Secret Service. A reminder that law enforcement caught Matthew Crooks dead to rights. Matthew Crooks tried to fly a drone over Butler. He tried to get into the rally. He made himself known to law enforcement. They saw the bombs in his car. They saw him scoping the building out and climbing on the roof. Nobody did anything. Anyway, President Trump has been attacked from the sky before. Something that most people don't know is that Donald Trump was being followed around by mysterious drones that had to be shot out of the sky. Many people say that it was potentially Iran during the presidential election cycle. The FBI just disrupted a massive drone plot targeting the White House UFC event. They were going to open fire on fleeing UFC fans. There were hundreds of thousands of them there in the fan zone. They were going to fly drones into that zone. Obviously, Donald Trump is putting a drone-proof roof on the White House and on various vehicles of his administration as they've had to rip deer stands out of the trees in Palm Beach as President Trump departs his aircraft. Obviously, a place where Trump is very vulnerable. He's outdoors. He's standing in a doorway. You could scope this. And they removed a tree stand. Why? Nobody's ever followed up on it. Nobody knows. F-16 fighter jets scrambled to deploy flares after security scare at Air Force One, Palm Beach Airport. So certainly not the first time that F-16s have had to be scrambled, and Trump has had to be rerouted because of threats against him. Obviously, many people say that the drones were being flown by Iran, suspicious devices, and so on. Anyway, Donald Trump going to his golf course, this has been a vector of attack. There was obviously a attempted murder of Donald Trump last week at his golf course. The Secret Service has missed Glocks at the golf course. And just yesterday, Donald Trump had to scramble fighter jets again to intercept two planes that were violating the club's airspace. So you could actually see the Air Force F-16s being deployed right here in this video. court.
You better get out of there, buddy.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a don't go here. Chasing that what looks like a Cessna off. Multiple planes had to be escorted from the airspace above Bedminster. It's amazing. We're 2 years in the Trump administration. This kind of stuff still happens. The president was staying there. He's overnighting there. F-16s intercepted 2 general aviation aircraft flying above President Trump's house. Now, what do we know about these drones? I mean, what do we know about drone warfare? What have we seen in the front lines of Ukraine? Is that like these drones, a Cessna is much bigger than a normal drone. A drone, these smaller drones have been able to deliver massive attacks, massive strikes, deadly strikes. 90% of the deaths are from drones, and they're very small drone vehicles. You've been able to see the devastation that has been wrought throughout Russia and Ukraine with these Cessna-sized drone vehicles. So, like, you should not discount something. Oh, it's just a Cessna. Dude, they could pack so much explosives onto that thing, they could take down all of Bedminster. They could take down a whole wing. They could figure out where Trump's staying or where he's golfing and crash one of those things into the courses and probably give the biggest scare to Trump's life this side of putting a bullet in his head, which they tried to do and did hit him in the head. Anyway, NORAD F-16 intercepted multiple general aviation aircraft that violated the temporary flight restriction over Bedminster, North American Aerospace Defense Company said on X. The airspace above Trump's course is obviously restricted where the president's there. All aircraft and safety were safely escorted out of the area by NORAD. Restricting the airspace is common practice. Why they didn't, pilots are reminded to check the notice to airmen for every flight. The first Air Force detachment previously shared on Thursday, multiple TFRs will be in effect over New Jersey area. Temporary flight restrictions, what a TFR is. U.S. Army ground-based air defenses assets may also be visible. Check before every flight. Stay safe. Don't get blasted out of the sky, morons. Digital Visual Information Distribution System also operated the Department of War showed the following procedural reminders to the pilots. If NORAD intercepts aircraft, general aviation aircraft, the pilot should immediately come up to a frequency and turn on and reverse course until receiving additional instructions from those frequencies, says. Otherwise, you'll get blown out of the sky, dude. Don't mess around with this. They're like saying this. I think that pilots who violate this stuff should have to pay for the expense of lighting up those F-16s. Those things are expensive, right? Yeah, they had to deploy flares. Like, check this stuff. Also, cheers for the crowd. Trump administered today, obviously. Trump fans at his club. Trump was golf and flanked, goodness gracious, by an Avenger short-range air defense system. Look at that. There's Trump golfing right there, and there's the act. Look at this. Man, crazy. This goes crazy. Trump golfing with this air defense system right here next to him. Trump getting love. I noticed that the Lady Ghostbuster Secret Service officers are no longer employed to protect Trump. Isn't that amazing how that works? Pray for our president. Keep him safe. Obviously, the enemies of Western civilization seek to destroy him and us, and they would love nothing more than to get another shot at Trump. Pray for safety.